Hello everyone, Robert Rambles here, and thank you so much for joining me today. As a lot of you know, I've been taking advantage of the recent WoW content drought to get into Final Fantasy XIV again, and for me, that means fully experiencing its epic storyline across all the expansions, and getting really immersed in the world. The Final Fantasy series is basically responsible for making me into a gamer, starting all the way back on the SNES with Final Fantasy VI, or as it was incorrectly labeled at the time here in the States, Final Fantasy III. So you might imagine I'm incredibly excited to finally be taking the time to play through what many people call the best Final Fantasy story in history. I've been thinking of how I can share this journey with you guys, and what I've settled on is a series where I'll talk through all the main story moments of the MSQ campaign. I'll explain the events for those of you who aren't familiar with the story, as well as sharing my thoughts about the experience along the way, and of course letting all the voice acted cutscenes fully play out. So unlike my other series, this won't be a straight let's play. Instead, this will be a highly edited content focused on the major story events of A Realm Reborn. I'll include some travel and combat when I feel like it adds to the narrative or is especially interesting. I'm really interested to hear your guys' feedback on this content in order to craft it into the best possible experience for you. So if you're interested, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving your thoughts below. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get right into things here.
Hydaelyn. A vibrant planet blessed by the light of the crystal. Amid azure seas, encompassing the westernmost of the three great continents, there lies a realm embraced by gods and forged by heroes. Her name, Eorzea. The annals of Eorzean history chart the rise of a succession of great civilizations, each one enjoying an age of peace, the astral eras. To date, all have proven ephemeral. In the year 1572 of the sixth and most recent astral era, the Northern Empire of Garlemald amassed a great army at the heart of Eorzea, seeking dominion over all. Rising in desperate resistance, the forces of the Eorzean Alliance met their would-be conquerors in the field. Yet, even as the battle raged, the lesser moon, Dalamud, was plucked from the heavens through imperial machination. From its core emerged the elder primal Bahamut, who unleashed his fury upon the realm. The devastation brought Eorzea to its knees and the era to its end. 5 years have come and gone. The light of life still shines upon Eorzea. Man labors tirelessly to raise himself from the calamity's ruin. The realm is forever changed, a stranger to him once more. Yet heedless of what lies ahead, he shall press on. Spurred by the promise of peace and prosperity. Amid this period of great change, an adventurer arrives in Eorzea, one whose tale is yet unwritten. May he ever walk in the light of the crystal.
Here. Here. Feel. Hear, feel, think.
After awakening from the dream of Hydaelyn floating in a void and being attacked by the masked man in black, we find ourselves in the company of two silver-haired youngsters and a traveling merchant. As an adventurer recently arrived in Eorzea from a faraway land, this is our first visit to any of the cities of Eorzea, and the city you start off in depends on the job class you choose. As a marauder, we're headed for the seaside city of Lominsa. Our idyllic sea voyage is briefly interrupted by what seems to be a pirate attack, but after taking shelter below decks, we're quickly told that the attack has ended and that we will be porting in Lominsa soon.
On a windswept isle in the southwestern corner of the realm, amidst the roiling waves of the Rotano Sea, lies the maritime city-state of Lominsa. To this haven for bandits and brigands, cutthroats and curs, seekers of both freedom and fortune, comes a lone adventurer. Lone yet not alone, for the hero's arrival has drawn the gaze of the nation's patron deity, Limsa. What realm-shaking fate has she descried in the churning waters of this mortal's future? Through peril and hardship, discovery and triumph, may the navigator guide this brave soul on her life's voyage, till sea swallows all.
We've barely stepped off the boat into Lominsa before we're directed by a guard to seek the guidance of Baderon, who's the proprietor of the Drowning Wench, an unfortunately named tavern that sits at the heart of Lominsa. He's responsible for getting all new adventurers on their way. Luckily for us, Baderon is very friendly and helpful, and it's from him that we learn more about the effects that the calamity had on Eorzea. Apart from the destruction of the cities and villages and massive loss of life, the calamity also affected everyone with a sort of memory loss. There were a band of adventurers who managed to stop the calamity, but no one living can remember their faces or their names. When people try to remember these heroes, all they see is a silhouette surrounded by blinding light. And that's how these forgotten heroes have been named the Warriors of Light. Baderon also tells us about the looming threat of the Garlean Empire. No one knows just what they've been doing for the past 5 years, but Baderon doubts that they're up to any good. Beteron seems to believe that it's adventurers like us who may one day become the new warriors of light, helping to restore the world from the destruction caused by the calamity, and fighting back evils like those posed by the Garlean Empire. But first, he wants us to get acclimated to Lominsa and get our feet under ourselves. He sends us to the Aetheryte Crystal, where we attune ourselves to Eorzea's teleportation network and learn about how the teleportation magic works. This is a fast travel system that is very cleverly worked into the lore of the world. We also visit the Merchant's Quarter, where any wares imaginable may be acquired. And lastly, we head off to our guild hall, where we can begin training our chosen job. These job quests tell an entirely parallel story, and while they do seem quite good, I won't be focusing on them here in this series. Once we return to Beteron and he's reasonably assured that we won't get lost in the city or fall off a cliff, he sends us out to Summerford Farms to see what we can do to be of assistance to an old pirate friend of his from back in the day. Our journey to Summerford Farms takes us through Middle Lenotia and sweeping grasslands. On the way, we tackle some of the local creatures who happen to be in our hunt log, and after some time, we arrive at the seemingly idyllic farming community. After attuning ourselves to the Aetheryte Crystal, we meet up with Stalrin, Beteron's old friend, who explains that he and his crew were once hardy pirates, until the calamity destroyed their ship. Ever since then, they had relocated to Summerford Farms, and had been trying to make a life as decent farmhands working the land. However, as he states, you can take the pirate out of the sea, but not the sea out of the pirate. Many of his crew are restless, they grow bored and distracted, being landlocked and laboring instead of being out on the open seas. After giving us this brief explanation of how Summerford Farms came to exist and its current situation, he insists that we'll be of little use with the problems that he's facing until we're properly geared out, and tells us to return once we've obtained some decent equipment. I did my level 5 class quest here, collected the reward, and then I had to buy the helm, the gloves, and the legs from the armor vendor in Limsa. After that, we were ready to make our way back. Once Stalrin sees that we're not going to fall to the first blow which strikes us, he tells us about a rash of disappearances that have been happening recently, and that some of his men on the farm have spotted strangers skulking nearby, a gang of savage-looking men with azure tattoos on their faces. He isn't convinced these strangers are responsible for the disappearances, but they are putting his men on edge, distracting them as they try to adjust to their new lives as farmers. He asks that we investigate, and directs us to the Sea Song Grotto, an area reported to be the den of these so-called thugs. When we reach the grotto, it's strangely empty of any of the mentioned thugs, but after clearing out some of the local bogies that are in our hunt log, we examine a tablet, and then an unknown voice of a woman interrupts our examination.
I am the waves that bear, I am the winds that guide. I am the evening stars, I am the morning sky. I am born of the sea, and there shall I die. Thus reads the sailor's requiem, carved into yonder stone. Such words well describe the manner in which the citizens of Lominsa live their lives. It is both a litany against misfortune for those out on the waves, and a prayer that the souls of those who perish on land might find their way back to the sea. Ah, you are the adventurer I've seen around Summerford Farms. I thought myself on the trail of the kidnappers, but it would seem I have missed my mark. Or perhaps not. As I suspected, the etheric disturbance here is no natural occurrence. Nor is it a coincidence that the two of us should come here in search of those responsible for the disappearances, only to be attacked. But who stands to benefit from the keeping of this secret? Oh, such thoughts must wait. Let us attend to the task at hand, unpleasant though it be. Phew!
Hear, feel, think. Crystal Bearer. I am Hydaelyn, all made one. A light there once was that shone throughout this realm, yet it hath since grown dim. And as it hath faltered, so hath darkness risen up in its stead, presaging an end to life. For the sake of all, I beseech thee, deliver us from this fate. The power to banish the darkness dwelleth in the crystals of light. Journey forth and lay claim to them. deeds shall the crystals reveal themselves to thee. Only believe, for the light liveth in thy heart. Go now, my child, and shine thy light on all creation.
Awake again, are we? Aha! The poor creature's fury was kindled with cruel forethought. See this blade? I found it in the Gubu's back. I have seen knives of this kind before. They are most commonly used for the cutting of rope. It would appear our culprits are seafaring men of some persuasion, piratical being the most probable. In any event, you seem much recovered from your sudden affliction. I confess, I was rather taken aback when you collapsed at the very moment of our victory. Mayhap a surfeit of ether? I beg your pardon. A towering crystal. I'm sure I don't... Oh! Well, well. This has been a day of unexpected revelations. I must continue my investigation. In the meantime, I suggest you deliver this knife to your patron, along with a warning concerning the pirate's probable involvement in this murky business. The days ahead promise little rest, I fear. May our paths cross again, under the light of the crystal.
Shaking off the attack of ether, or whatever it was that prompted the vision of Hydaelyn, and watching our new ally walk off into the distance, we're left wondering why we of all people have been tasked with the recovery of the crystals. This thought weighs heavy on us as we set off back to Summerford Farms, hopeful that Sterwin will recognize the knife used to enrage the beast which attacked us. But this is where we'll leave things for today. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in seeing more, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and letting me know what you think down in the comments below. Until next time guys, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other, and we will see you back in the world of Eorzea very soon. Bye now.